Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows. This is another one in our series of discussing what we do for homeschooling for each kid. We are a family with 6 kids currently living inside the house outside of the womb, and one still in the womb for another 3 weeks or so, baby Malachi. So I am doing this video on our 12-year-old daughter. We have a 2-year-old who we just try to keep busy while we're doing school, a 4 and a 7-year-old who do a lot of combined school, who are learning early math and learning to read. We have a 9-year-old little boy who definitely is little boy, likes to be out running around. And now we're going to talk about our 12-year-old daughter who likes to fill in worksheets and likes to, she just likes learning. She likes to read and all those things. So I'm going to explain what we do for her every day in our schooling. Our schooling starts in the morning, and they do some of this stuff before our Bible time, but usually the day starts with our Bible time together as a family. And in that, we're practicing hymns every week to learn, to be able to memorize as a family and be able to sing without having the words. So we do usually 2 or 3 different songs a week for that. We practice our catechism. We're doing the earliest book we practice with everybody. And a catechism is questions that give you an answer that you would memorize so that you're able to discuss deep doctrinal thoughts in a short written out answer. So like the little kid catechism we start with, the first question is, who made you? God made me. What else did God make? God made all things. We will have a link to the books in the description here. But the catechism we practice during Bible time is the age 2 through 4th grade catechism or 3rd grade catechism. Naomi also on her own time works on the other catechism book, which is the next part up, which I think is 4th through 8th grade. So the catechism, part of it's done during our Bible time. And then during Bible time, we read right now we read through a chapter of the Bible with everybody taking 2 verses, except for the littlest ones. And then we discuss it. That the Bible time itself takes about an hour for our family, and everybody sits and responds and all of that stuff. So that's our morning routine. For Naomi specifically, she does extra math every day. It's extramath.org. There's a link below. And it's like online flashcards. So she just practices math facts she already knows. You can set it to the timing you want for your children. I think it's between 6 seconds and 1.5 seconds to answer. And practice everything from addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division one at a time until they've mastered it, and then you can move on to the next thing. You can set it up for your kids. You can custom make it for what they need at that time. So we do extra math. She also does memverse, which is I put in which Bible verses I want her to memorize. We use a lot of our catechism and things that we've memorized in the past. And it is on a rotation. There's an algorithm that's all explained if you look on the thing. But she rates how well she thinks she knew the verse, and it'll decide how often to bring that up. We use that one to memorize Bible. We use it for spelling practice because you have to spell the words correctly for them to count. We also use it for typing practice because typing is important in this day and age. So after they've gone through a typing course that teaches them where their fingers should be and everything, this is their typing practice every day. They sometimes also type other things like letters to friends and things like that, but their daily is the memverse. We are working on math. Naomi is currently doing Master Books Math, which we've started with all the kids, except for Virginia. But her math book, she is doing the 5th grade math book, which she currently, I think, would be starting 7th grade this year. I'm not really sure. Master Books presents things in a different order. So we went back and she's doing about 3 pages of math a day. So she'll work through this math book very quickly. But that's just the way to be able to make sure that we haven't had any gaps as we think that this is the program that we will continue through with our kids. Every math program teaches things in a different order. They're nice short lessons, but they really make the kids understand why they're learning what they're learning. She bought a workbook a couple of years ago. She really likes to fill in workbooks. So we found one time. It's a 5th grade workbook, but she's working through a few pages of that a day. She likes to fill in workbooks, and it's just good overall practice of lots of different skills, language and English and all those things. She enjoys doing it. Like I said, she practices her catechism, which is the 4th through 8th grade book that she's working on right now. She's working on that at her own pace, memorizing the verses they want her to learn and memorizing the catechism questions that go with that. She is currently doing a Bible study. It doesn't exactly jive with exactly everything we believe, but it's not so far off that she can't do it. It would be more maybe Presbyterian in nature than we're Baptist, we're Reformed Baptist, but it still has some really good talking points. And so she goes through that where she's reading through the Bible and answering some questions on it. And it brings up some really good questions of why do we believe this or why do we not believe this? And being that she's 12 and has had a lot of Bible knowledge given to her, I feel that she's discerning enough to ask questions where she doesn't understand something in that. Not something I would give to another child who might not be able to do that discerning work. She also does an assigned reading. Our church library has a bunch of missionary biographies, and she right now is reading through missionary biographies. She loves reading, and usually has her nose stuck in a book, so it's not hard to get her to read. And she also is very musically inclined. Unlike our other children, just aren't that interested in music. They love to sing, but not learning things. She has taught herself recorder. She was recently given an ocarina, which is this little glass or clay thing you blow in that's got little holes on the sides. Very old instrument. She's teaching herself that. And she was also recently given a guitar, and she's taking lessons online. The site that we're using is called justinguitar.com. And that is, he teaches you through learning chords and things on the guitar. And that, again, she's doing on her own. I don't know the guitar, so I can't help her with that. I know a little bit of piano. And I played the French horn in high school, but that doesn't help with the guitar. So she can ask me if she has a question of what a note is, but that's about it. Naomi will also be joining us. I said in our other videos that once it becomes winter time here in Maine and we're spending more time in the house, we end up doing far more school in a day to keep people busy and just keep learning things. So we will be adding in geography, history, and science that will be for everybody. Naomi, 12, on down to the 4-year-old. The 2-year-old will sit in on it too. And we'll either give the older ones different assignments, or we'll just read through things together. We read a lot of like nonfiction books together. So that's something that kind of already happens, but it'll be happening more consistently once winter comes and baby comes. So I will do a video on that probably in a couple months once we get settled into that new routine. But that is what we do with Naomi currently. And so if you have any questions, ask us. And the resources that I mentioned are listed in the description of this video. Thank you for joining Herding Little Cows.